Hi, everybody, and welcome. Today's session, right now, you are in the session of Online and Inline, Making Marketing Marvelous. And we're going to speak to you today about how to mark. We're going to discuss rubrics, and we're going to discuss discussion boards and assignments. So today it's Tony and I. Tony is from Teaching and Learning. I'm also from Teaching and Learning, and we're just going to go through how to set things up for you. And I'm going to just take a look at the chat. So if you have any questions, you can post everything in the chat. And yeah, we look forward to hearing your feedback and questions like that. Okay, so go ahead, Tony, whenever you're ready.
Yes. Hi, everybody. I'm Tony. I'm going to show you first how to create a rubric in Blackboard. First, we go to Course Tool, and then we find rubric. So ignore these two at the moment. I'm going to show you how to create one. So we just click Create Rubric. We have to put in a rubric. So let's say assignment, and then you don't have to put in a description. If you scroll down here, this is where you put the criteria and the items. So the first thing is to change this percentage to points. It's a lot easier if you're using points and points range. For this demonstration, I'm going to use points only. And I have something prepared ahead of time. I'm going to put these two rows in there just to show you. These are the criteria. So I want to change these. Just paste it in and save. Save, and then one more. So I need to add one more, so I add one more column. That's the incomplete. So you can see that the end, so you can press enter. Here you want to change these. Let's say if that's for post 1, change that to post 1. Save, post 2, change to post 2, save. I don't need that one, so I just delete this row. Based on this rubric that I have here, the points are 3, 2, 1, and 0. So I'm going to put in 3, 2, 1, 0, and then 3, 2, 1, 0. I'm just going to copy this one in here, this one here, this one here, this one here. Again, this one here, this one here. So I hope your copy pasting skills is really good, so you can get this done fast. So just an example, I'm going to submit this, and it's created right here. This is the assignment that we just created. You can open it and see. We have 2 rows and with the correct items. For the purpose of this demonstration, I already created 2 here. So I'm going to create a discussion assignment now to show you how to apply this rubric to the discussion assignment. So this is the one I already prepared. Now I'm going to create a discussion assignment. Create a folder. So let's say discussion assignment number 1, 5% maybe. Post something. Oh no, please put instructions here. So you don't see where to put in rubrics until you click this radio button, grade discussion forum. Now you see this add rubric drop down menu, select a rubric that you just created, which this discussion assignment. Once you selected it, it will automatically calculate the maximum point possible for you. So you won't get it wrong. You don't have to do your calculation. You have to kind of select yes with rubric score so that the rubric is showing to students. I'm going to show you where it is that the student will see it. So now we have finished creating this discussion assignment. I'm going to go into student preview mode. So now I'm a student. I'm going to submit the assignment here. So discussion is my reply. So as a student, I just posted my first message. So the student can actually see the rubric right here, grading information. When they click on it, they will see all their posts here. Like if they have multiple ones, they will see all of them listed here. And over here, if they click this little box, they will see the rubric. It's a few clicks before they can see it. So I would recommend you also have included in your instructions, discussion instructions to your rubrics. So there would be no argument. So this student is done. I'm going to go back and mark this discussion as a teacher. So now we go to the grade center. Let's see. So if you have there's multiple posts, you will see all the posts here listed. Over here, you can click this little hyperlink to see the rubrics inline. But it doesn't have all the details. You have to click show descriptions to see all the details of the rubric. It might be a bit long. So there's another way. You can click this box to have a pop-up. Now you can mark it one by one. Let's say 3 points. You can have individual feedback to each one, each post. Good. Okay. Good. Bad. Good. Give another good. And don't fill out this box because this box is to override the number of points, which has no logic in it. But you can click save here. Then you see the mark up there. uh, let me save the rubric. Once it's the rubric, you have to click the save rubric in order for the marks to totally go in. You have to remember this part. Yeah, you may put the overall. This box is an overall feedback. I'll show you where all the feedbacks are after this. So this is a general feedback for the discussion. So you submit it.
Tony,
So
sorry to interrupt. Where did you click to make the rubric pop out into its own window?
it's right this box on the side here.
Wonderful, thank you.
No problem. So remember, you have to submit the rubric, save the rubric, and then say OK. So you see the mark there. If you see still see an exclamation mark there, means you did not save the rubric. You have to click Save Rubric. Let's go back to the student view to show you where things are. Now I'm back into a student. So this is the grade. See this little box here? That is the general feedback for the discussion. If the student want to see each criteria, they click on View Rubrics, and it will show them each criteria that they got from and the feedback on it. So anyone has any questions at this point?
I think there's a question from Jennifer, and she's asking, can you apply the rubric after the students have already submitted their work?
No, you cannot. Very sad. No, you cannot.
Right. Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Can we ask questions, or we have to type them out?
You can ask. We're going to do, like, Tony has finished his presentation. We're going to have some questions now, and then I'm going to continue to do the other part. So yeah, now's a good chance. I just see some questions though here about show how did you, sorry, I missed something. If you save the rubric, is it possible to clear the rubric so the assignment shows as not graded?
If you already have a rubric, let's say you have to make the discussion graded in order to show a rubric. That's the bottom line, because once you check no grade in, you cannot have a rubric. So either you have a rubric or not. I mean, if you're going to grade it, you will have the option of putting in a rubric.
Yeah, sorry, I think somebody else was going to ask a question also. Great, yes, thank you. I'm sorry, somebody else had a question?
Yes, I had a question regarding once the discussion form is set up and students click on the assignment and then they click on create thread and they give their own input or discussion or feedback. Mm-hmm. So every student will have a separate feedback. Can all other students access the other students' comments? I mean, it's a discussion board. I'm assuming they can, but is there a, they can, get ideas from other people and then make it their own, like, type of thing? How does that work? I'm not sure if I'm clear in my question.
Yeah, it's all open because this is not a group, discussion. It's a single discussion, so they can always see others. The only possible thing that can reduce the cheating thing is here, the standard view, and the participant must create a thread to view other threads in this forum, meaning the student must post one thread before they can see other people's reply. Depends on the group. Some student will still override it by putting 2 words and then say, and read other people's posts before post it again. So it's almost impossible to stop them. You can only do so much about it. Yeah.
Okay, and then a follow-up question is, so if the assignment is where there's a, an article and students want to discuss about it, so every student posts a thread with their answer, and I was thinking maybe you want the students to make a comment on another student's, or reply if they can. Can you mark that? Will that pop up on the individual students thread, that reply? When you're marking, let's say I want to mark their initial post and then the post they make on someone else's comments.
There would be a link that when you're grading them.
So if I go into the individual student, I'll see both posts automatically.
When you if they're replying to a post, another thread, this would be highlighted. Like you can click and then it will go to it's all linked together. All you have to do is click. But if you have a class of 50, then it's tough.
Yeah.
So can I just volunteer some information, because I do that in one of my classes. So what I see is when I go to my needs grading section, and I've asked them to comment on make 2 other comments on another person's post, all 3 show up in the needs grading window.
They do, right? That's what my question was. Yeah.
Yes. So they do all show up in the same window, so you don't have to search through the 150 posts to figure out if they've done it or not.
That's what I was hoping. Yeah.
Okay. Right. But so all the students can see is what the posts. They don't see the feedback that you give them, right? That's all private, but they will see the posts that you post up. And as Tony was saying, sometimes if you want to use that as an option, so students don't just watch and see what other people post and then they post, you can make them put that participant, like you actually have to post first to see other people's posts before you get to post. And that it'll show up as well as a criteria. It'll say in your little box, you have to post first so that they get the information before you can actually view other posts.
You should start your part now.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, something. There are some questions here in the chat that I think we can either get to at the end, or I think I might be able to get to them when I do mine. Okay. So I am just going to share my screen right now, so that you guys can see. Okay. So, all right, so here we go. Now there are different ways of making rubrics. Okay, so one way of making rubrics is you can go into, this is just sort of like a course shell that I'm using here. You go into course tools over here, scroll down, and you'll find rubrics here. This is one option. Okay, so when you go in here, and if you want, you can, if you've already made a rubric, you'll find it here. If you want to make a whole new rubric, you can do that as well. So, or if you want to import a rubric from one of your other courses, you can do that as well. So if, let's say you want to create a rubric from scratch, so I can do the same thing that Tony did, except I can just show you what happens, because I think the question was, what if you have a range? So I'll just call this a nursing rubric. And so here, once again, we've got our pre-organized default. So for me, these words don't make, they're not so helpful to see what's novice, competent, and proficient. What I sometimes will do is I can write what's unacceptable. So at least the student knows this is how come I didn't get the mark. What is, oops, acceptable. And I can keep proficient. Okay, so what I can do there, just gonna move this over so you guys can see better. Just increase my screen. Okay, and then once again, instead of using percentages, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use, I'm going to use a range of points. So just going to go over here. Instead of percent, I can do a point range. Okay. So let me just slide over so I can click on save here. So I'm saving these. So maybe my points are 0 here. Acceptable is, let's say, 0 to 2, and proficient will be they get up to 4 points. And as I move down, I can do the same thing. Once again, same idea. Sorry, did somebody have a question? And I can just kind of move down. The other thing also is that maybe formatting to me doesn't mean too much. So instead, maybe I'd like to change this to content and coherence so that I can, you know, sort of understand what the student wants to get at. And maybe I want to add a row because we were talking about that. Today, we're talking about plagiarism. So maybe I want to talk about APA, or maybe you do MLA, you know, whatever sort of makes sense. So once again, maybe we're just going to adjust these marks. You can have a range. And once again, we're just kind of, you know, we're just kind of playing with these numbers. You don't have to have 0 to 2 or 0 to 4. And then in here, you'd put some information, right? So that, you know, thesis not stated in first paragraph. Maybe here that the thesis was slightly clear or something like this. And here maybe the thesis is clearly stated in the first paragraph and repeated in final paragraph. And you've got some, you can sort of keep going and you can fill in the boxes to kind of give you, you know, an idea. So this is just one option of making a rubric, right? And once you've filled in all your boxes and then all that stuff, because you filled on this stuff in, you can click on submit and it will automatically give you your actual score, okay? So that's just one option, okay? Another option is when you're actually making your assignment, you can create a rubric there as well, right? So if we go into assignments over here, okay, so we're gonna go into assignment. I'm gonna make a new assignment, and the name of the new assignment is nursing essay, let's say. And I'll just scroll down. Maybe I have some instructions here about when it's due and when to complete it. And I'm going to look and I'm going to take a look and see if I can find my assignment. Sorry, I had this all ready. Let's just go to getting my assignment. And here's the assignment that I'd like to attach. Click on add alignments to the content. I might want to include the due date. Let's say it's due in a few days. And here, I want to add my rubric. So either I can select a rubric that's already been done, right? Just give it a little bit of time. So I can select one of these rubrics, or I can create my new rubric here. This is the other option to do it right here. I can also, create a whole new rubric, right? Once again, we get that form to fill in. It's going to be all blank and I'd have to fill in from here, and I can do it that way. The other option is to create from an existing rubric. So maybe I've already got a rubric and I like it, but maybe I just want to, you know, maybe modify it a little bit, right? So I'm going to click on modifying it. I'm going to scroll down. Okay, sorry, let me just get this, sorry. Scroll down, submit that. Sorry, did I already click on, let's go create from existing. So I'm going to create this, use this one that's has already been created, and submit. And here's my rubric. And I've already got it. Maybe I just want to change a few things here, you know, do a little something to change it. fiddle with something, but otherwise, yeah, this is okay. Let's submit this one. Okay. And that already puts in my points possible. So it's already done there. Once again, I want to scroll down here and make sure that my students can actually see this rubric. So I'm going to say yes with the rubric and the scores. And then because it's an assignment, I might want to add some more details in here. It's an individual, or you might make it a group assignment. Maybe I'm going to give them a single attempt or more attempts. And maybe I'd like to ask them to check their submission for plagiarism using Safe Assign. That's the only box I'm going to tick because the student will still have to tick their own box as they submit. So that's kind of taken care of. If I click on grading options, I really only have an option here to do anonymous grading if you want to. We don't have delegated grading. And if you want to do that, you can tick on that. And when do I want to display the grades? So here you have an option. You get the option of seeing both. So if you want, you can see the percentage and the score. The students can only see the primary. All right, so you might want to see both percentage and score. So you get to see the secondary, the students just see the primary. Okay, and we want to make it available. We want to submit it. And just give it a minute. Okay, so there we go. We've made our nursing essay, right? And it's ready to go. And now we just want to make sure and take a look what the student sees, and the student can see it. So we go into student preview. That looks like, it almost looks like an eye, that little dot with the 2 arrows. So you click on that, and now you enter student preview. So now you see what the student sees, right? Student will always land you on the announcement page. Even if you're on the other page that you've just done, it will always put you right there. So you're going to click on it. The student will click on assignments because they know they've got an assignment due. Their assignments come up. I had already a nursing care one that I was kind of fiddling with, but here we'll click on the nursing essay. And here they've got this information here, right? Gives them some information about submitting. Here's when it's due. Here we can see they can view the rubric right here. The students can actually see what the rubric is. Maybe they first just want to take a look. What's the assignment? So we've loaded it up, and here's their assignment. And okay, so here's some instructions. Here's the essay topic. Here's their format, plagiarism, etc., etc. Okay, they've got that. Sorry, and now they want to view the rubric. So once again, they click right here, and they get to see what they're being marked on. And here's all the information that they need to see. So it's all there. Okay, so they've looked through it. They've written something, and now they're ready to submit what they've written. Great. Okay, so they're going to send in their own, this is their nursing, there's the student nursing essay. They're going to submit this. Okay, and here is where it says that they agree to have their paper put into the global reference database, right? So that they have to tick this in order to be able to submit their paper. Okay, and then they would click on submit. And it even gives you the information here. Your submission appears on this page. Here's their number that confirms it's been submitted. They can copy it as proof if there's ever a question, and they get to see it in my grades. They get all this information here. So here they go. Yep, that's my essay. It's right over here. I called it the nursing care essay. I've written it here, right? And once again, if they want to see what their rubric looks like, they can view the rubric from here. They just click on that, and they get to see their rubric. Okay. So it's all done. It's been submitted. Great. Okay. Then you want to exit this preview. So you want to see how you mark it as the teacher. So we always suggest that you click this middle button over here to keep the preview user and all the data. And the reason we suggest you do that is because then you get entered into the course. So if you ever want to, sort of see something or sort of submit something to see if it works, as if you were the student, you get to do that because now you're kind of as if you're a student in the course. So it kind of gives you a little nice window in there. So yeah, you're going to scroll down here and you're just going to take a look. Let's just fold that up. You're going to take a look and you want to see, yeah, what needs grading. So click on Grade Center and we'll see what needs grading. So click on what needs grading and we see that we've got that nursing essay that has to be done. Okay, so let's click on that. And here's what you see as the teacher. Okay, so just give it a few minutes, 3 dots. Okay, here's your nursing essay. Great, that your student submitted. Okay, so let's just see if we can take a look. There we go. If we can take a look and see where our rubric is over here. So either you can click on this or you can click on this to see where it is. Both are fine if you want to just take a look. And once again, it won't give you the description, so you can click this on this so you can see the descriptions. Okay, so then you might want to, do some inline marking over here just to kind of, give your students some feedback right here in the paper. So if you want to maybe make a comment, click on comment over here. And maybe you want to talk about right over here. You might want to give them something. Please clarify and cite this information. Okay, so you might want to do that. You also might want to, I'm just going to shift over. You also might want to sort of mark up the paper and write something on it. So if you want to circle something, you can click on drawing. And this is sort of the pen that you get. You click on that. You can choose a color. Right now it's blue, which is fine, but maybe you want a different color. And maybe you want to circle something here and oops, sorry. And circle something over here. And oh, you know what? You didn't really like how that looked. That doesn't look so good. So go over here and you can just click on this to erase it. That didn't look so good. How your pen just kind of went a little fuzzy. If you want to highlight, once again, click on the drawing. This time you're going to click on the brush. And maybe you want to highlight something. So yeah, there's lots of, different things that you might want to do. Draw lines and make comments, things like that. Okay.
Excuse me, I have a question. Sorry.
Yeah.
I use digital pen to use this pen and to put the notes. Sure, with the digital pen, it's so easier than the mouse. But if you pay attention, every time I would like to select the color or specify the thickness of the pen to write, you see when you selected the cursor goes down, scroll down the page, and then every time I need to go up, it's a little bit annoying. Even the setting. No, if you click on the thickness, you will see it 5 usually. When I change the setting for one student, when I go to the next student, it come back to the default, and again I need to reset it again.
Yes, it will.
So I don't know if there is a way to contact the Blackboard team to tell them about this issue, because it's time consuming actually.
Yes, and we're actually in terms of Blackboard, we're not in the final phase of Blackboard, right? Like we just switched over to this Blackboard Ultra. We've got like, for example, with these annotations, this inline marking, some of these are new, and just the way that they've set it up here is actually new. And it's a work in progress. And I agree with you. They do rely on our feedback to say, here's what works for me, here's what doesn't work for me. And it actually does help when they make the next, the next beta, what do you call it? Like the next iteration, because they're changing things all the time. So yes, it definitely does help to give Blackboard the feedback.
And even I found when the students submit PDF to mark it using this digital pen or writing, even with just like a box, PDF, it's easier than doc or Word file. The Word file, when I open it to try to write on it, or put a note, it starts to vibrate, like shaking. The document is not stable. So now every time I ask student, you can submit doc or PDF, but I prefer PDF because it's easier.
Okay, and that's totally fine. And and I think that's a preference thing, and that's totally fine.
Okay,
yeah, no problem. Thanks for the question. So now, if you want to mark, remember we've got a range. Right? So let's say I think they did great on their content and coherence, but now I get to give them points. We get a range here from 0 to 1, 2, 3, 4. I thought it was so good, I'm going to give them a 4 on this. Something else, maybe I might say, I think this is acceptable, but I think that I'm going to give them a 2 on that. Right? So you can just kind of you know, you can mark them as you're going down, as you see each. You know, I'm just sort of being random here. I'm sure when you mark, you'll do it great. And you want to give them feedback, right? So here it's already telling you this is the mark. Great job. Please see comments, something like that. You might sort of just give them a little bit of information, and you want to save it so that you save the information. Here you might want to give them some overall feedback. Great thesis statement and overall excellent paper, right? You can give them some feedback. The other thing you could do, which is kind of as a fun little thing to do, is you can also give them some verbal feedback. So if you click on the A like this, and this gives it to you in writing, right over here, all the way on the side here, there's a microphone. So if you can insert a recording. So you click on the little microphone over here, and just give it some time for the purple wheel to stop. And here at the bottom, whoops, I think I lost it, but anyway, let's try it again, sorry. Here at the bottom, you'll see, you click on the red button and you can make a recording. Great job, Sarah, fantastic essay, right? Or whatever. Oh, sorry, I got to start. Right. Great job, Sarah, fantastic essay, right? So you can do something like that, right? So, and that's fine too. And just make sure that you want to save it. So your student, you get to insert the recording. You can also record alternative text, right? So your student can hear it, they'll see it right there and just submit it. So sometimes we have some students who would much rather hear than read. So this just gives you an option of recording, right? So that's how you'd be marking inline and online. And yeah, so then, you know, you're marking it up, and same idea. If you want to see what your students see after you've written all that, we're going to go into the student preview again. So click on student preview, and once again, should land on the announcement page. There we go. And the student wants to see how they did on their assignment. They can either click on assignment, or maybe they want to click on their grades. They can see it either way. So click on grades, and here they just did, what did we call it again? The nursing essay, right, there it is, nursing essay. Here it is, they get to see their mark. Over here is their feedback. They get to see the feedback they got. So some information here, the recording. And once again, if they wanted to see the actual rubric and what they got marked on the actual rubric, this will give them the information. The range that they got of the points for each of their each of their items that they were marked on, and the feedback that they get as general feedback that they get. And once again, they can also give them individual feedback on each one, depending on how you choose to give them feedback. But now the student, as I say, the student can see all this. They see how they got their mark. They see the comments. They can see the actual essay and the marking up in there. So let's give it a second as it loads up. There are your comments. If you click on the comment, they'll be able to see their comment. Just move this over and slide it. They'll be able to see the comments that you gave them. Please clarify this information. And yeah, they can see, you're right, it is annoying to have to keep sliding around and everything. What's highlighted, what's circled, you know, there's things that you know that you want to just kind of let them know about. Okay, so that's how they would take a look at what you've marked, and that's how you would use rubrics to do marking, to do all this grading. And I was just trying to make sure that I finished that before I took questions. So do you got any questions that we can talk to and address? Do you guys have any questions?
Ellie?
Yeah, hi.
Hi, it's Ioana, and it's very nice to hear you.
Hi, nice to hear you too.
I put my question in the chat, and I apologize. It's a very basic question because I'm new to online teaching, but I would like to clarify this for myself. I know
Sure.
some of our colleagues are teaching online for a long time, but I have started late, and I'm very interested to find out when I provide feedback to students, either that I leave, let's say, feedback when I mark short answer questions in a test or a midterm, or let's say I mark a video assignment. Is there a time limit for students to access my feedback, or does that get stored in the Blackboard for the entire duration of the semester?
Yeah, as long as the student has access to your Blackboard course, they are able to see the information. However, you can also limit how long the students will be able to look at their assignments. So for example, like when you set up your assignment and one of the options that you can click on is to say that you're only going to allow, for example, them to see this, one of the options is at a certain date. So when they click, when it's at a certain date, then they have access to the feedback. Before that date, they don't. So it's how you set it up. I don't know if you want me to walk you through that now.
No, Ellie, I'm able to go back and look at my settings, and I know how to look at that. So I'm going to go back and check if I limited the date of the access. So if I don't limit it, that means they basically can view it for the entire semester. I would like them to have access to my feedback because our assignments are interconnected. So let's say they submit 2 videos and they're kind of interconnected. So they look at the feedback from video 1 and they know what to do for the following assignment. So for me, in my case, it works better if I actually do not establish a time limit.
Yes. Yeah, that does make sense. That's a great idea. Right.
Thank you very much, Ellie, for your feedback. Thank you, everyone.
No problem.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
I have an assignment, but the questions are not really matching for a rubric where you can use it for every single question, but they're more different. So one question has 2 points, the other one maybe has 4 points as marks. What could a basic rubric look like that you're more flexible in the marks you give per question? Is there something? If it's more like a test in the structure where you have, multiple shorter paragraphs or maybe, different questions.
Okay, yeah. So a test is going to be different than an assignment. And the rubric matches best with something like an essay kind of an assignment or a discussion board as opposed to a test. Because in a test, I can show you in a test, but in a test, you'd probably set up your rubric a little bit differently because you're giving the marks, as you said, per question. And each question might be different. One question is worth 1 mark, another question is worth 3 marks. So how you'd set up that information, when you're setting up the test and the feedback that you're giving, and also when you write the correct answer, there's an option to do those things. So that you'd set things up a little bit differently there, because let's say on a short answer question would be very different from, let's say, a multiple choice question. So yeah, I think you'd write it differently in a test in terms of how. But is that your question? Like a short answer?
When you make a test, can students work multiple days on a test and then submit in the end so that you can mark it? Or can they not, usually I make a lot of mini quizzes and, it's multiple choice, you get the answer, then it marks automatically done. But when you want to have this, going on for multiple days, that they can work on it and that they maybe submit the work at the end and they can save their work in between what they have already written. Then is it possible that they can work on something if it's set up as a test over multiple days and times and proceed working on it?
They can do that. That is an option if you want to give your students an option to do that, to be able to save their work and come back to it later. Yeah, it can be done. Are you wondering in terms of, I guess, international students and what to do there? Because sometimes another option, like if we're talking like usually a test, sometimes another option could be something like you give students a range of times when they can take the test, but once they decide to start taking it, then that's their time to take it. So it might not sync up with your, 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. For them, that's in the middle of the night. So they might want to take it 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock in the middle of their afternoon. But once they sit and start writing the test, then they kind of have to finish it in one go. So that's another option. And just, I think, just in case that you're thinking of international students, that's just another option to choose. So you give them a range of days or times to do it in, but once they start, they keep going. But yes, there is an option when you're doing, once again, your options in terms of when you edit the test, and you edit the setting up of the test. You can let them either have multiple attempts, or also to save and continue later. So it can be done, right? It's just part of the options if you want to do it that way.
My problem is it's not a test. It's actually an assignment. It's a research assignment with different parts, but also different parts with different values. I would like to use some kind of a, marking help, an online marking help where I can give them feedback to each question. But this is why I did not set it up as a test, because I think this is irritating for the student if they have to look under test, not under assignment. But at the same time, I don't really know how I should mark it, because it has the different parts and I cannot use a classical rubric. I've used points, I've used point ranges, but in this case, it doesn't really work. So I'm kind of lost a bit what I should do.
Okay, yeah, I'm also thinking about like just kind of problem solving it too. I'm gonna say maybe I'm gonna give it some thought and bring it back to the teaching and learning team, because maybe I'm kind of thinking, I wonder if it would help to set it up almost like in mini modules. So they maybe work on one part, then they work on the next part, and you sort of set it up almost like, almost like.
Can I comment for questions, Sabini? Am I right? Your name? You have the question about about the research project, right? Yeah, I have the same situation. So I create marking schemes that works for the projects. It's not like the rubric pattern or template, we have it in online. So sometimes you just attach it as a page in the assignment to explain the breakdown of the marks. We don't have like this option for like 5, 4, 3, 0. It's something like research. There are many criteria, so it's kind of custom made. So I think not always we can follow this scheme for like rubrics in online. We create our rubrics, but we need to put the feedback when we mark it by having these notes. I
can see your point. But what I've kind of liked was when you have a rubric and you can add the points there for each question, how many get that you have in the end, it's already added up and it automatically goes into the grading book.
Okay, I see.
I think that is kind of really nice when you use it. If you have a rubric and you just click on the points they make for every part, and
yeah,
you
it's
have
easier,
the summary and it goes automatically in the book. I think that's so valuable, and that's what I kind of would like to keep somehow if there is a possibility.
I don't think so. I have assignment for like software. I need to check the software for each student, 53 pages. And I put all the comments, so it takes time, but that's the only options. I understand, yeah. Not always works in this way. This is easy for us, yeah.
Right, sorry, before I was just trying to pull up the chat just to see if I'd lost any questions. Is there any questions that somebody has that
Can I just want to answer George's question. George, you asked about, can we use inline marking with pens, highlighter, like in discussion assignment? No, you cannot, because a discussion board, when you mark the discussion board, it doesn't launch the box software. So
I see. Okay.
Yeah. So no, it's no. The other question,
only for an assignment. That's exactly right. Not for the discussion board. The inline marking is only for the assignment.
Someone asked about the tools doesn't come up when marking. Sometimes because there's only a few document extension that the box software takes. So if for some reason the student uploaded a not supported document, the toolbar may not launch. So but if you know what they uploaded. Let me know, and I can see what I can find out. Yeah, it's the extension of the file name of the file that might not trigger the toolbar to come up.
Yeah, like we have quite a range, right? .doc, .docx, PDF, all that stuff. But it's true, there are some things that if it's not in that range, unfortunately, right, we can't get the annotation tools, unfortunately, in the same way.
Hi,
Yeah.
Ellie. It's Naomi here. I think
Hi
I
there.
understand what Amelia was asking, and you didn't show that there's there are little icons that can get rid of your make your screen bigger, and when you make the screen bigger, it shows the more of the tools. I discovered that yesterday.
Oh, okay. So is that what it was? So
I
you're
think
putting in
so.
a document. Okay.
So when you're actually marking the document, you make the document bigger by getting rid of the sidebar, the left sidebar of all your menu, and the right sidebar with all the marking information. And then you can see more of the toolbar.
Okay. If that was the question, right, that it was just a matter of the space and how the space is, right, that's right. I thought the question, as the ways Tony was answering it, had to do with the extension, like, right, are you loading up a picture or an image or something like that? Or are you loading up a document? And it's true, once you have a document, the tools can be used and you can see them. As you said, it maybe it's just how you've sized it. But if it is something else, like something that is just much more foreign, such as, you know, a picture or an image or something like that, the tools might not work in the same way. So I think that was kind of the understanding, but thank you. Just looking at the time, I just want to be mindful of the time. Is there any questions we haven't answered yet? Because I know we were supposed to be finished at 2:50, and I feel bad that we've run over on our time. Can
you go back and show how to do the recorded message again, please?
Absolutely, sure. Let me just go back and share the screen. And here we go. So I'll just go straight into the assignments. We're just going to go straight into, oh, sorry, I'm going to go into marking this one. Sorry, let's go into what needs grading. And we're going to grade an assignment over here. I hope I've loaded something here so that we can grade it. Okay, yeah, here we go. So we're going to go over here and grade it. So I don't know if you saw what I just did there. I just pulled the arrow down. It was like that. And I lengthened the arrow. This is all you see. You won't be able to see that little A. So pull down your arrow, click on the arrow. And then here where you see feedback to learner, you're going to click on the A. That opens up your full content editor. So click on the A. Just give it a minute. And there you'll see the microphone all the way on the left-hand side on the bottom row. Click on the microphone. And just give it a minute for the circle to stop. There we go. And you'll see at the bottom here, there's a red button to start recording. Click on the red button. It gives you a countdown, and then this is how you can leave your message. Okay, and we've left a message. Everybody did great today, and we'll stop the recording. And then in this case, you click on save and exit. I'm not going to, okay, I can do that. Save and exit, so at least people will see it, but insert the recording. There we go. There was an option there before for if you want to put in some alternative text, and you just type out what you record, you submit that, and then here your student will be able to see that there's a recording of what you just did. So it's all done with clicking on the A and with a microphone. Okay, and then you just want to submit that so it actually gets into the student's information and into their grading.